Hey everyone, welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Sophie from Sophisticated Organization. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing all of my favorite apartment organization hacks. These are things that can apply to a renter-friendly space, if you live even in a home that you're renting right now, if you have a smaller space. These are all of my favorite things. I currently live in an apartment with my husband. I've lived in apartments pretty much since I moved out of my parents' house, other than living in college dorms. So I think I've got some unique hacks to share with you and some great small space storage solutions. So if you're ready for it, let's jump right into the video. Let's start in the kitchen here, and first up is a general solution that I really like to use in the kitchen, but you can use anywhere throughout your home or your apartment, and that is shelf risers. So they come in a variety of different finishes. The one I have here is a metal shelf riser. It's relatively tall and it has a pretty open weave here, so you'd want to be careful with what you put on top of it. But there are some that have completely flat surfaces. You can get them in white, acrylic, a ton of different options. I'll link a few different ones in the description box below. And I like to use them in my kitchen specifically because oftentimes I find that the cabinets don't utilize the space in the way that I want to. And of course, because I'm renting my apartment, I don't really want to install anything or go really all in by investing in new shelves for these specific cabinets that I'm probably not going to have forever, since I'm not going to live here forever. So shelf risers are a great temporary solution, but they're also a great solution if you own a home and you want to use them forever. I'm somebody who likes to organize my refrigerator, which might seem a little bit extra, but there are two products that are great for smaller spaces if you don't want to keep your refrigerator organized in the exact same way all the time. I like to have can organizers if I'm going to have cans in my refrigerator, but I don't always buy soda or pop or whatever you call it, or sparkling water. We just have that on occasion. So these organizers from Utopia are really great. They help to organize cans and they connect together, and you can place them next to each other in the refrigerator. You can stack a bunch of them together, or you can completely unstack them and put them together like this and store them, and they barely take up any space. So if you don't want them in your refrigerator, it doesn't take up a lot of room wherever you want to put them, or even just to the side of the refrigerator. And another great solution, also from Utopia, are these little wine organizers. I'm currently pregnant, so I don't even have wine to show you what this looks like with the wine on there, but it's slanted, as you can see, and it'll keep your wine bottle resting in your refrigerator without rolling around. The last thing I want to share in the kitchen is my pot and pan organizer. It can be difficult to find a solution that you don't have to drill in or install into your cabinets. I personally worry about that type of stuff with an apartment because I don't want to be charged damage fees when I move out. So the less holes that I can drill or put into the walls or cabinets, the better for me. And I tend to have some heavier pots and pans. I have some cast iron items. So I don't want something that is cheap or flimsy and can topple over with all of those pots and pans on it. And the organizers I found do a really great job. They're heavy duty, they're durable, and they hold all of those cast irons. And I think it's really important to have something to organize your pots and pans rather than just stacking them on top of each other, especially if you've invested in some nicer pieces, because you don't want them scratching against each other and destroying them earlier than they would typically need to be replaced if you keep them separated and take the best care of them that you possibly can. Let's move into the bathroom here and talk about the space above your toilet. That's oftentimes dead space that isn't used, and you can find a storage solution to go above your toilet to store any extra bathroom products that you might not be able to store in your smaller place that you're renting or your apartment. Now, I bought this unit from IKEA, and it does take a little bit more installation than maybe some people are comfortable with in an apartment or a space that they're renting. You do have to put some larger holes in there and drill into the wall, but for me, it's just a few. Usually I fill it in with some spackle or putty and haven't gotten charged for it yet. Fingers crossed I don't when we move out of here. But if you don't like this solution that you install actually on the wall above the toilet, another great option is a unit that just sits on the floor and extends up and takes advantage of that space. I've found it to be a really great option when you have a small bathroom like we do here. There's only one drawer in here, so we store some extra items up there and make it a little bit decorative as well. Next up in the bathroom, I don't like to have my shower products just sitting around the edge of the tub, or if you just have a standalone shower, I don't like to have those products sitting on the floor. Getting a really easy organizer like the one that I have in our shower tub combo is great because they are expandable. This organizer I have brought to 3 different apartments, and because it's expandable, it's fit in all 3 of those different apartments. Sometimes I do have to store an extra piece. Like for this one, we have a little bit of shorter ceilings and it extends from the tub, whereas previously I've had it extend all the way from the floor and used an extra part to get it all the way up there. But I like that it's a spot where my products can drain off. You don't get mold or mildew rings or soap scum building up because it drains right through those open slats. But it also just makes your space look extra clean, extra organized. I can have spots for my products. If you have a spouse or somebody else that shares the same shower as you, you can have separate shelves for different people. Really a great option, usually pretty inexpensive, and hopefully if you're moving from space to space, which was important for me, this will be an option that can last you more than just the space that you're currently in. Let's talk about the dreaded under sink storage in our bathrooms. This can be difficult whether you live in an apartment, if you live in a small space, if you rent a space, house, wherever you are. It's never fun to try and figure out how to work around those pesky pipes and different things that can be under your sink. But what I use is the Alpha system from the Container Store, and this is another product that has lasted me through my last 3 apartments, and I know that wherever I go next, even if it's a house, it'll hopefully work there. And if it doesn't work under the bathroom sink there, these things are great in closets, they're great in pantries, really anywhere in the house. Luckily, these have fit in, again, all 3 of my last apartments. I will say this bathroom sink, it's a little bit of a tighter fit, but still fits. The doors close, everything like that. It doesn't hit the pipes or anything. I will let you know, these are extremely high quality products, which does unfortunately mean that they are pretty pricey. Keep an eye out on the Container Store. They run sales all the time specifically for their Alpha units, but also because this is such a high priced item, it's gonna last you forever. Again, move it from space to space. Don't be afraid of that. And know that this is something you can completely customize with different colors, different finishes, different heights, different depths, all of that stuff. And you can even customize the drawers that you put in there. So in my unit, I have 2 smaller drawers on the top and a larger drawer at the bottom. You can mix that up and do exactly what you want. So in my opinion, worth the price, but keep an eye out for sales. Now, it may be kind of obvious to say when you live in an apartment or a smaller space, you need to take advantage sometimes of every possible nook and cranny, meaning the inside of cabinets, the inside of your doors, really anywhere you can imagine where you see extra space. Sometimes you might need that. I'm a huge fan of using command hooks. I like using those in my kitchen, hanging pot holders on there. I like using them really all over. And I've really struggled in the past to try and find a solution for my brooms, my dustpan, my mop, things like that, and how to hang them up. I don't want them touching the floor. I want them put away properly. And I have had so many things fall off of doors before, fall off of the inside of closets, leave large holes and marks, until I found these command hooks that are meant for brooms and mops and that type of stuff. And it works so much better. I would highly recommend them to you. I've had 0 problems with them. And the best part is because they're Command brand command hooks, you simply pull that tab to remove it and you have no residue left behind, no holes left behind, and therefore no damage fees. Like I was just saying, if you live in a smaller space, sometimes you need to take advantage of every possible spot that you can to store items. I really like finding different hidden storage options so it doesn't look like your space is completely jam-packed with stuff. I have a great solution here with my couch. I have an ottoman that has a storage option where I can open up the ottoman and put in some extra pillows and blankets, and they are out of sight, so they don't look like visual clutter, but it's great storage. There are tons of furniture options that do this. You could find a bed that does the exact same thing, either flips up or has drawers that pull out from under it. Other furniture, like little sitting benches, if you have a front entry area, may have hidden storage inside. But if you can find some sort of a hidden storage option, I say go for it, so you can find an extra little space to store whatever you need to store and nobody's the wiser. These last two are just general tips for apartment living or smaller space living. And the first one is to try and find bins that stack on top of one another. So behind me, I have my seasonal decor, and this is a great example. These bins stack perfectly on top of each other. They do have a little drop front, so I can easily access it, and I don't have to take things off of one another. So I really like that I don't have to unstack things. And if you're thinking you don't have a large space like I do to have this whole storage solution just sitting in a closet, you might have this availability even if you have some clothing hanging over it. Because this is seasonal storage for me, I'm obviously only accessing it seasonally. So if I had some clothing hanging over it, it wouldn't be that big of a deal because I only need to get back there every once in a while. So storing things on the floor, you can stack them. You can stack them inside of cabinets, inside of really anything or anywhere in your space. Just try and find things that have sturdy tops to them. A lot of items will be marketed and sold as stackable, so you can try and find those. But again, even if it's not sold as something that's stackable, as long as it has that sturdy top and it's nice and structured and you know putting them on top of each other won't make them collapse, you should be good. The other thing I wanted to mention is I feel like a lot of times people are hesitant when they live in a space they rent to invest in organizational solutions that are specific for that space. And I'm one of those people. I don't want to spend a ton of money on solutions that are only going to work for my specific space when I'm renting an apartment for anywhere from like a year to 3 years. I've lived in different apartments. And even if I'm staying in a space for 3 years, organizational products can be so expensive. So finding something that's very specific for a certain space and then just getting rid of it after 3 years does not seem like a good investment to me. So I try and find things that move with me. And especially when you talk about drawer organizers, try and find ones that are modular so you can rearrange them and move them around. Get a clear, simple acrylic matching set. If you're in your office, you might want to do something that's more of a metal, but just get a standard set that you can move all around. Or another great option is expandable drawer organizers like this one. It pulls out so it fits your exact space. Sometimes those shelf risers that I showed a little bit earlier, they actually can rise and lower depending on your space. Just look for things that are adaptable and can move. If you are somebody who lives in an apartment or a rented space or somewhere where you're not going to stay forever, because I would hate for you and hate for me to spend a bunch of money on these beautiful products to just get rid of them in a few years. Hopefully you guys found some tips, some hacks, maybe some products that you want to find and try out for your space, and that this video was helpful. If it was, I would love if you gave it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite tip or hack, and until next time, I will see you guys later.